Hello, everyone. This is Kenya Carr. I'm the founder of Life Chapters Coaching, and I have with me today Heather Carney, who is an amazing digital marketing consultant and my partner. And so what we're going to do today is something different. Heather is going to interview me and ask me some questions. And just so you all know, I have no idea what she's going to ask me. So, but this is a way for you all to get to know me a little bit better. So, and it's something we're going to try over time a couple of different ways. So with that, let's begin, and I'll turn it over to Heather.
All right. So I have a few questions that I thought would be great to ask a life coach, and I feel that a lot of people have these same questions, and that we could ask them to Kenya to see how she would approach this as a life coach, and for her to tell us how she feels with a life coach perspective in mind. So my first question, Kenya, are what is your go-to cheat meal?
My go-to cheat meal, that's a good question. Actually, on Fridays, just like last night, I had pizza. I love pizza if it's good pizza, okay? So typically on Friday nights when I have my boys, we will get pizza. Friday night is pizza. So there's a great Ciro's restaurant, and it's New York style pizza. I like thin crust and great cheese and sauce together. So, and we always have pepperoni pizza because my son Noah loves pepperoni pizza. So last night, for example, I went and I ordered a small pepperoni pizza and had a nice glass of red wine to go with it. So one of my cheat meals that I really enjoy is pizza.
That is reassuring because I also had pizza and wine last night.
Oh, what a coincidence. Love it. That's why we get along so well.
So my second question is, when did you know that you wanted to be a life coach?
Okay, that's a loaded question, so I'll just start there. Okay, so, and this is going to sound like cliche because people say, I always knew. But I wouldn't say I always knew, but I would say probably in my mid to late 20s, I knew I wanted to be able to connect in a certain way with others by sharing my truth, because I'm very opinionated. I always speak my mind. You can ask my parents. And I just, when I'm connecting with someone, I like to connect on a deeper level, and I'm very curious. I always have been. So I like to ask a lot of questions. And so as I would talk to people and they felt through our connection, they would give me feedback in a way that it was like, hey, that was very helpful. And it made me feel good to know I was helping somebody by just sharing and being open with them. And I didn't know that was considered life coaching. I didn't know what that was. And so I think someone said it to me, and I was like, yeah, I think you're right. Yeah, I think that does fit me. And what I feel is my purpose here is to help people and how I can help people. And so that was always in the back of my mind. And then honestly, I was going through some things in my personal life, having been married before, and marriage having its ups and downs. And so married, working as a job, married to somebody who was an entrepreneur, worked out of the house. So it was easy for me to just kind of go to work, be at work till 10:30, come home. He's doing his own thing. I'm doing my own thing. And then I just learned over time, I kind of let myself go. Like I wasn't as conscious about me and what I wanted to do, and kind of just laying around, not as active. And fast forward, and we have our first child. And it maybe was before or afterwards. And he said something to me that really kind of struck me to my core in not a good way. And it was kind of along the lines of, you know, you're not as feminine, you know, and some other words were used, and I took it as, I'm not pretty, I'm not sexy, I kind of just, ugh. And I already self-consciously had that thought about myself. And so for someone who I love to say that to me, it really hurt. And it not only hurt, it pissed me off. So I got to the point where I was like, well, I'm not doing nothing for you. At least I thought. I'm going to do this for me. So I started even on the weekend getting all dressed up to make myself feel sexy and putting on makeup, just go to the grocery store. Because I needed to feel good about myself versus letting somebody else close to me tell me about me. So I started paying attention to my health, and I started exercising after I had my son because I gained weight and I didn't take it all off. And people who see me, I'm pretty petite, so anything shows. So having like a Buddha belly, but everything else is small, I was self-conscious.
Right.
So I started working out, and I swear to God, one evening several years ago, I couldn't sleep, and God usually speaks to me late at night, truth be told. And I was like, I talked about becoming a life coach and just telling myself, not yet, not yet. That was me, my own fear. And I was Googling some information, and health coach started coming up. And I was like, wait a minute. I've been on my own journey. It's related to what I want to do. And I was like, that's it. It's time to go. Everything I've done in my life has connected me on this path to where I'm supposed to be. And the timing was right before, but right at that point, I was like, no more excuses. Let's go. And I started pursuing my coaching certifications, and here we are.
So branching off of that question, my final question is, do you feel that everyone is beneficial from a life coach?
Absolutely. I mean, we all need help in areas of our lives, and we may have people that we confide in to help us. And nothing is wrong with that. But depending on where we're trying to get to, and we haven't been able to master that change on our own, there's something else that we need to do differently than we've done before to get the help we need, right? And it's part of it starts with being vulnerable, right? Going to people who you're not comfortable with. Because the people you're comfortable with, that's great, but they're not always going to tell you what you need to know, what you need to hear in the moment you need to hear it. And they're not always going to ask you those questions that you've never been asked before that a light bulb goes off. Because sometimes, a lot of the times, it's that one question that you've been asked that you're like, wow, I never thought about it. And then you start thinking through the answer, and sometimes it takes you just asking me another question that no one's asked me to push me out of my comfort zone to start thinking through, well, what might that answer be? Because if you ask me a question, my brain is automatically trying to find an answer. Our brains are like computers. And so us together, but even you asking me a question, the right questions, getting curious with me, just like you are now, we're co-creating the solution together. You're asking me a question, and I'm thinking through what that possible answer may be. And at the end of the day, I may think, hey, that's great. That was my answer. And I feel good about it. And all you did was ask me because you're curious. And that's what a coach does, is they ask you powerful questions to help you come up with the answer. And if you get stuck, then they offer you possible solutions that you might consider. And it's up to you on whether or not you want to follow through on that action and see what happens. It's an amazing thing. Everybody needs a coach. I have had a coach. I need a new one. So if you know any good coaches out there, let me know. But everybody should have a coach in their lives, whether it's long-term or short-term, depending on where they're trying to get to.
Okay. Awesome.
Great.
Thank you.
You're very welcome.
Well, that is it for today's take. I'll let Kenya close it out.
Yeah. So, again, like I said earlier, this is something that we're trying. So this is our first pass at getting to know Kenya more. And there is more. So we will be coming at you again with more Q&A. So stay tuned. Thanks, everybody. Bye.
Bye.